President Biden is dismissing criticism from G7 members and even Democrats over his decision to not extend that August 31st deadline. That as thousands of Americans and Afghans remain trapped in Kabul under growing threats from the Taliban. Growing desperation as families, including many Americans, attempt to flee Taliban rule. The terror group controlling access to the airport, now saying it won't allow any Afghans to leave the country.
We're waiting to get through, but they're not letting us at the moment.
President Biden Tuesday saying the evacuation is on schedule.
We are currently on a pace to finish by August the 31st. The sooner we can finish, the better. Each day of operations brings added risk to our troops.
More than 70,000 people have been evacuated in the past 10 days, including more than 5,400 Americans, but many more are still trapped behind Taliban lines. The president's decision to hold to the August 31st deadline facing fierce opposition on all fronts. GOP Congressman Mike Waltz speaking on CBN's Faith Nation program.
It's both heartless, it's cruel, and it's clueless. In terms of the disconnect between the reality on the ground.
Waltz, a veteran of the war in Afghanistan, says the president's public statements don't match closed-door intelligence briefings.
What we're hearing in private from his own team in classified briefings, where they admit that Americans and our Afghan allies are being hunted down, they're in danger. And that al-Qaeda is going to come roaring back. It's not a matter of if, but just when.
Even Democrats doubt the evacuation can be completed in time and are calling for an extension.
We must do everything necessary, regardless of the deadline at the end of the month. We must extend that and get the mission done. The deadline is when the mission is accomplished and we bring our people home. Full stop.
Meanwhile, Waltz will introduce a measure condemning the president's failure to heed advice of military and intelligence advisors and warning the U.S. will pay a heavy price in the future.
We're just weeks away from the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and yet we're being dictated to by the Taliban 20 years later, and al-Qaeda is going to be back again for some future 9/11. So the blood that's going to be on Biden's hands is not just the Americans and Afghans trapped in Kabul right now as we speak, but that future attack on the homeland and future American soldiers that are going to have to go back once again and deal with the threat of terrorism, but this time with no bases, no local allies, and with a Taliban that's armed to the teeth with our own equipment that we allowed to fall in their hands.
Meanwhile, a new USA Today Suffolk University poll shows President Biden's overall approval rating has dropped to 41%, with 62% disapproving of his handling of the crisis. Charlene, CBN News.